Polaris Press Audio presents Room at the Inn, a Jeff Resnick mystery. Written by L. Bartlett. Narrated by Stephen Barnett. Chapter 1. A bell over the door jangled as I stepped into the Sugar Maple Inn's living room and smelled death. Not literally, of course. It's unsanitary, and a body in the lobby isn't a welcome sight for potential customers. Besides, I wasn't sure anybody had actually died. Yet. I'm not paranoid, but since a mugging rearranged my brain cells earlier in the year, leaving me with lingering, often crippling headaches, I absorb more than most people. The phantom odor disappeared, replaced by the sickly sweet scent of potpourri. It wasn't an improvement. I took another step inside, and my girlfriend, Maggie, pushed past me. The overstuffed furniture, antiques, and doodads decorating the walls and every flat surface in the living room lobby made the place look fussy and uninhabitable. To me, that is. Maggie's wide approving eyes sucked it up. Although not swank, at an average $350 a night, it wasn't within my budget. I followed Maggie to the cubbyhole behind a Dutch door that served as the inn's registration desk. A young blonde woman sat in front of a computer, pecking away. I had to clear my throat twice before she looked up.
"Hi, is Susan Dawson around?" Maggie asked. "She's not available. Can I help?"
"I'm Jeff Resnick," I said, "and this is Maggie Brennan. We're here to write an article on the inn and take a few pictures for the magazine. Is our room available?" The young woman's face was blank.
"Sorry, sir, but we're booked solid,"
she said, without even consulting the ledger beside her.
"You might find a room somewhere else in town, but as it's coming up on a holiday weekend, I wouldn't count on it."
Was her response an omen of things to come?
"We're here as a favor to Susan and Zach," Maggie piped up. "We're supposed to stay here free."
The young woman blinked.
"Susan didn't mention this to me. You're welcome to wait for her if you'd like." She indicated the porch.
I forced a smile. "Thanks." So we headed for the door, and once again I caught that sense of impending doom. I'm not a mind reader. Sometimes I know things about people and places. I tap into strong emotions, whether I want to or not, and sometimes knowledge just follows. It's a real kick when you're making love. Except on those occasions when your partner's heart isn't into it. That comes across loud and clear, too. Maggie accepts this personality quirk of mine as one would a minor disability. She overlooks it. But I figured until I knew what was going on, I'd better not mention my premonition. We settled on the porch swing and watched the intermittent traffic whiz by while I tried not to think of dead bodies. "Just how sharp is this old high school buddy of yours?" I asked. "So far, I'm unimpressed." Maggie squirmed.
"Susan was voted most likely to succeed."
"Then why does she need our help?" Help in the form of a magazine article. Maggie had been selling freelance for just over a year.
"I suppose she'd welcome any publicity."
Maggie sighed and looked away. The afternoon sun highlighted the fine lines around her blue eyes, hinting at years of smiles. As always, she looked beautiful to me. I sensed her nervousness at seeing her old school friend again. I'd say she was 3 sizes more nervous. Not that Maggie's overweight. She's just about right for her 5'6" height. I stroked her shoulder-length auburn hair and felt bad for laying a guilt trip on her. At 40, she was older than me by 4 years, but her joys and insecurities made her seem, and occasionally act, years younger. I'd known Maggie for about 6 months, and this was our first weekend trip together. We left the grim skyline of Buffalo behind us for a long Labor Day weekend in Stowe, Vermont for a working vacation. Maggie's editor wanted pictures to accompany her story. After losing her job some months before and relying only on contract work since, Maggie wasn't in a position to pay someone to do it. I'm a pretty good amateur photographer. So I borrowed my brother's camera and we filled the trunk of my car with rented equipment, some of which I had only the most basic knowledge. My gaze traveled to the large sign along the road which announced the AAA-sanctioned Sugar Maple Inn. True to its brochure, a towering sugar maple tree stood to one side of the place. In another couple of weeks it would be a magnificent example of Vermont's famous fall colors.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?